Skinny Hardaway Southern T back with another EP. Y'all do your boy a favor. Y'all smash that like button for your boy when you roll on in. Whether you're here for a good time or a long time, I greatly appreciate you sliding through. If it's your first time, do your boy solid. Don't make it your last time. Hit that subscription button as well. We talk this good MMA, boxing, parlays, predictions, every single day and not just today. Today, we're here with the PFL Africa 4 Finals EP. We got 11 fights on this card. We're going to talk about 10. I'm going to make this as swiftly as possible. I'm going to go down each of the 10 fights, right? It's an amateur fight on here. I'm not going to waste too much time, on that amateur fight. That amateur fight really doesn't do us, too much good, right? Don't really do us too much good, right? So we ain't gonna bother with that too much. I'm gonna give y'all my five, most confident picks. We go chop us up a parlay as well. I'm also gonna add BKFC to this, right? I'm probably gonna I'm gonna do BKFC in the pin comment, right? Because it's a little more work that I have to do, with that BKFC. Want to make sure I get y'all, the correct information. So we're going to be adding the BKFC picks in the chat. I am going to do BKFC on here, right? But this particular EP is just going to be PFL live, and then you can check the pin uh comment for the BKFC along with the timestamps. Hopefully, I get this in enough time, right? Where I don't need timestamps. You know what I mean? For this, that's the goal for this. I'm gonna try to do this in about 12 to 15 minutes, right? With that, so with that being said, let's go ahead and let's get to it again. I'm not gonna talk about the very first fight on this card. It's going to be a amateur fight between two women. I think it's an amateur fight. They don't have enough fights for me to feel comfortable. One person is 0-0. The other person is 1-1. It actually may be a professional fight, but I'm not going to mess with it. Right. But I digress. I digress. Let's move it right along. So first fight of the night, we got Gadaga. Also, you can see my picks for the people who just want to, skip the board and pop my people who got, like a lot to do. You don't have time enough to sit and watch the whole video. I already have my picks, my winners floating at the bottom, of the screen in the yellow. So you can see, exactly who I'm picking for the full card as well, right? You just look down there. Just look down there at the bottom. You can see who I'm picking for the full card. Uh as well, right? But we got Gadago versus Mohali. Mohali. This is going to be wrestler versus wrestler versus wrestler, right? Wrestler grappler versus wrestler grappler. I want to go with Gadago in this. I think he's had much better. He's fought the much better competition. He lost his last fight by knockout in a fight where I think he was actually winning. You know what I mean, with the wrestling and with the grappling, which he's pretty good at. I think he's a more technical wrestler and grappler than Muhali. Uh, More experience at a higher level. They both have 5 fights, but I think Godago is more experienced in fighting a better fighter. So we got Godago for the win. We got Muhammad Ba versus B Bolo Yang, right? Bolo Yang is trash to me, man. This is really a fade of Bolo Yang. I'm not confident in Muhammad Ba, right? Don't really know much about him, but I'm not betting on Bolo Yang, right? So Muhammad Ba for the win over Bolo Yang because I think Bolo Yang is trash mostly, right? We got Abdullah Kane. He's fighting Teacher Awa. Kane is going to knock Teacher Awa smooth the fuck out, right? Kane is one of my lock picks on this card, right? So we're going to take Kane. We locked Kane up in the fight before, right? He ended up actually getting the knockout, but he kneed the guy on the ground and he ended up losing the fight, which has him not in the finals where he should be. Right. So Kane is a fighter who probably should be in the finals, but who lost his fight on the technicality. So we're gonna go with Kane for the win as a lock. We got Ngannou versus Yedo. Ngannou is 6-1. Yedo is 1-0, and he won his only fight by majority decision. So I'm going to go with the more experience in Gano. right, to win. He's probably going to wrestle, Yato. He's a little bigger than Yato, right? More experience. Again, don't know a whole lot about Yato, but I do know that he had a majority decision in his first fight in Gondo is at least he is stopping people, right? He got a couple stoppages in there, right? I think he has what 6 fights and 4 stoppages or something like that. 7 fights and 4 stoppages, right? So I think he's a little more dangerous. Shout out my guy Daniel Berry, my girl Jess Jazz, and my girl Millie Mia. Appreciate you, right? So we're going to go with Ngannou on that win. Ngannou, not Francis Ngannou, right? But Steve Ngannou, right, over Yato. We got Juliet Uka versus Marine Dabber, right? We're going to go with Uka. This will be our second time betting on Uka, right? Uka came through for us the first time. She's fighting a woman with only one fight. 1-0. She's 7-0, right? Going to go with the more experienced Uka. Think it's going to be a stand-up technical battle, right? But if it does go to the ground, I'm edging Uka because she is the more experienced ground fighter in this. They're probably going to strike. I think Gabra wants to, keep it at in he wants to keep it boxing. Uka has more of a well-rounded MMA game. She can box, she could kick, you know what I mean, as well. And she also can grapple. I actually want her path to victory, least resistance will be to grapple in this fight since she's fighting another striker. So they may strike. And even if they strike, I think Uka, is the better MMA striker, right? While Gabber may have slightly more technical punches. I don't think her skill level is as high as Uka, right? So Uka for the win. And I'm probably going to end up locking her, right? But we're going to see by the time how I feel at the end of this video, right? We got Gene DeSantos versus Cornell Thompson. Now, DeSantos is a high level prospect. People are big on him, but I'm actually going to go dog or pass in this fight with Thompson. Gene DeSantos, before his last fight in which he got a first round knockout, that guy went, 3 rounds with him. He wrestled him. Some people feel like that he lost that fight, and then they say, that he won, and they rematched and he ended up knocking the guy out. So kudos to him for that. But I think Cornell Thompson will be able to be, kind of relentless with his wrestling, right? Though Gene Dos Santos is more of a striker. He's athletic enough so he can wrestle, right? But really not his strong suit. I think Carl Thompson's going to be the better wrestler. Now, Gene Dos Santos may be the better, he's the more dangerous striker. Don't know if he's the better striker, right? But he is the more dangerous striker. So I would say, man, I'm actually leaning Cornell Thompson dog or pass in that fight, right? So not a confident dog pick, but as far as the value is going to go, because I do think he's going to be the underdog. I think Cornell Thompson has a shot to win. If he's like plus 300, plus 400, or, plus 200 or something like that, I'm all over that Cornell Thompson dog or pass, right? So that is a dog or pass just for, reference, not a high confidence pick. We got Adeshini versus Moraquay. I'm going to go with Adeshini for the win. Adeshini has impressed me so far in this PFL Africa. I'm going to take his wrestling to bring it home. Moraquay, I think, can strike. Better striker, probably, right? Better overall MMA fighter. I don't think so, right? He's going to be giving up some size. He's going to be giving up a lot of size. You know what I mean, to Adeshini. And I think that's going to lend Adeshini to get this victory. That he's going to be able to wrestle him, maul him a little bit, and take this fight where he wants to. Adeshini for the win. Very well could be a stoppage in that fight, right? A submission or a stoppage. I think Moraquez is going to be giving up a lot of size, and I don't think he's as skilled as Adeshini. Adeshini for the lock pick. We got Justin Clark versus Abraham Babley. Babley by murder, Babley by knockout. Babley is a lock pick. Justin Clark, I'm not really sure how he got here to begin with, right? I don't think he's really that good. He ended up stopping his last opponent, right? The doctor stopped the first fight, and he stopped his last opponent in the third round in the fight where he was, taking damage, and the opponent just kind of gassed, right? So I'm going to take Babley to put him out of there. Babley's not going to gas. I think Babley is one of the better fighters in the PFL Africa circuit. Babley has 2 split decision losses in which me personally think he won at least one of those. Think he won both of them. I think he won at least one of those, right? So Babley's going to stand on business, take care of business. Babley is a lock pick. We got Esperanca versus Intinchala. Now, I've won with Intinchala as the underdog in the past, right? I picked him as the underdog in his first fight. He won. I picked Dasi in the last fight when he was the favorite and he won, right? So I underdog with him and won. He was the favorite. I picked against him and he won. He's fighting Esperanca. This is going to be a good fight. I think this very well could be the best fight on the card, especially if T'Challa is able, to stuff some of those takedowns and keep it standing. This could get interesting. I'm going to go with Esperanca, right? I think he is extremely dangerous. I think he's the better wrestler of the two. And T'Challa may be the better striker, right? Pretty dangerous as well. But I think Esperanca is good at what he does. He has a decent striking game, but he's really good at what he does. He's under control too in the cage. He is aggressive. He's a physical specimen, but he's controlled with it. So I do like that he's technical on top of being, dangerous. T'Challa is dangerous as well. This is going to be a good fight. You know what I think? But I'm going to go with Esperanca. Tempted to lock it up, but I don't like betting against T'Challa, if I'm going to be real with you. Main event, we got Ndebele versus Kareem Henny. Now I picked Kareem Henny in his last fight. He did end up getting the win, but he gave me a little scare, before he landed that knockout in was it the last round or the second round? He gave me a little scare right before he landed that knockout in the third round against Godogu, a fighter that we took earlier. Kind of got out wrestled, right? You know what I mean? So Ndebele is a striker, and he's going to be the more rangier striker at distance, right? So I think that could play an advantage for him. And I think he's going to be better, in the clinch and at the wrestling, right? So I think that's going to, play play in his favor as well. So I am going to go with Ndebele for the win. I understand that a lot of people are on Kareem Henny, and I ain't mad at you, right? But I'm gonna go Ndebele. You know what I mean? For their win, right? So let me get y'all to parlay right before we get up out of here. We're going to take Kane. We're going to take Adeshina. We're going to take Babley. Now, I don't have odds for this just yet, right? I don't have odds for this just yet, right? So you're going to have to bear with me on the odds, but I am going to give you my five favorite. We're going to take Uka and Esperanca. We're going to take Go. It's going to be a wrestling match. Kane, Adeshina, Babley, Uka. Let's go Esperanca, man. He's going to be in a hell of a fight, right? But let's go Esperanca, man. I don't like betting against T'Challa, but for video purpose, we're going to take Esperanca now. He's fighting a good fighter, right? So I guess he would be the least confident pick, not because I don't think he's going to win, just because he's fighting a good fighter and T'Challa, right? But Kane, Adeshina, Kane, Adeshina, Babbling again. I don't know odds on this. Right. Uka gonna lock her up again. And we're gonna take Esperanca. Esperanca is gonna have a pretty good fight on his hand. Right. If you want even safer, right, don't add Esperanca. Right. Even safer, drop Esperanca, right? Because I think he's gonna be the fighter that he's fighting is pretty good, right? But I do think he win, right? So and then we go slide on up out of here. All right, so Kane, Adeshina, Babley, Uka, Esperanca. And if you want to go even safer, you could drop Esperanca, right? That's all I got for y'all, man. Appreciate y'all folks sliding through this thing.